Yo, Guda, is this fucking mic on? Man, welcome to the Gym Podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Gym Podcast. What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Gym Podcast. This is your host, Gilbert Sanchez. If you're new here, you can call me G. But basically, on this platform, we are in San Antonio, Texas. If this is your first time here, go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening right now on all podcast streaming platforms, I appreciate you for clicking on this and just checking out this actual podcast. Typically, I like to go into what I've been doing for the past couple weeks, but man, I've been grinding. And when I say grinding, I mean I've been doing podcast after podcast lately. Shit, in the last week I've done through 4, which is insane. I've never actually done that before. So 2 a week, and yeah, it's been a grind, man. Jay, this is the first time you're gonna see this setup because Jay actually put this whole new setup for us. Yeah, it's funny though. He had text me like one night and he was just like, "Hey man, I've been working all day on this. I took the day off just so I can rearrange the actual podcast studio. Hope you like it." And that was it. Yeah, he didn't ask me for anything. I was just like, "Bro, you could have asked me," but when I saw it, nah, this is game changer. So yeah, changed it up, different views. You're gonna see a different view on the actual guest, but yeah, we'll get into it. But first of all, I just want to say thank y'all for actually tuning in. It's been a wild ride, but man, on this one, this is actually a friend of a friend. Was introduced and never actually been to the restaurant. That's about to change. I'm not even gonna lie, that's about to change. I don't want to no hard feelings, but I've heard about it, and that's the point that I was getting to is because I've heard about it, and I think when people hear about just through the grapevine, you know you're doing something right. But man, Sean, what's up, bro? What's up?
What's up, my guy?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. It's an honor to be on this thing, and it's nice and homey in here.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you saw the Jonay episode, but like I said, it was switched around. It was a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. It was our first time getting into a new studio. It
Yeah.
was like settling into things because we only been here 6 months.
Oh, word.
Um, and it was everything was just different. So like I said, this black thing behind us or behind the camera, my back camera wasn't even there, which is pretty cool because I told you there's a door right there. So
Yeah.
before people would be like, "What the fuck is this?" like going into a different dimension or some
It's
shit.
a
But
Narnia.
yeah, but man, kind of hit you with a curveball, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen I Am Athlete podcast. This was like Brandon
I
Marshall
have.
and
I love that
Ocho
podcast.
Cinco. So big thing that they do that I do every so often is ask people 1 through 10, where are you physically, mentally, and then yeah, business wise, bro.
That's great. That's tough. Wow. Off the bat.
Off the rip, we're
I
getting
actually I appreciate the transparency though. I'll start with mentally. I think that's like the most underrated rating. I'm like a solid 7 or 8. I feel like it's I try to stay at that level just so I can always temper my expectations
Yeah.
and allow myself to feel like I'm in the struggle. Sometimes I think that's important. But overall, holidays, Thanksgiving, I'm in a good place. I got to see the fam. Business wise, I would also say 7 or 8. Things are chugging along. Nothing crazy, nothing bad, which is
Yeah.
a blessing. And then I think just 8s across the board, honestly.
No, yeah,
yeah.
8s are not bad. That's a good number, bro. Because I mean, I've had people in here say like 5s, and I'm like, all right, let's talk about this.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on? Because that's if you're a 5, then something definitely not going right.
Absolutely.
But no, that's good, bro. If shit's aligned on your end and everything's going smooth, man, congrats, bro. Because man, some things that I like to talk about on this podcast, and I've talked about it before, but it's just when shit gets tough, man. There's you always got to rely on people.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can fucking do or by yourself. So mentally, obviously, mental health is a huge part in our world now, especially with social media. So reaching out to somebody whenever shit gets rough, reaching out to somebody when you're having panic attacks, when you're feeling depressed, when you're just when shit ain't right. I always like to stress that. So that's good, bro. That's
Thank you,
good.
man. Yeah. I mean, I think you also caught me at a good time. Like,
Oh yeah. So
end of the year, I'm like, Christmas is coming,
everybody
Thanksgiving.
everybody's like that. Are you a person that puts their Christmas tree before like Thanksgiving?
Yo, actually, I've I've never had a Christmas tree in
Oh
my
shit.
entire life. I
Is
don't know if it's
you
an Asian thing or
hilarious.
or like if it's just my family was like, nah, fam. But
Fuck
like,
Christmas.
I've never had a like first year I've ever had a Christmas tree was this year, and it's like a little 3-foot tree, and I was like, yo,
Something on your countertop.
I made it. Yeah.
What? Yeah, that's weird, bro. So, where would y'all put presents? Just in a corner somewhere in your house or something? Just well, I mean, usually you would put them under a tree, but
They would like put them like by the fireplace or
oh,
something.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
well,
With
then, yeah.
like we would still have stockings,
Okay, okay, okay.
but like I just thought it was weird. I would go to for my friends' houses who were white or whatever. Be like, yo, Colin, what's up? And he'd be like, yo, check out my tree. And I'm like, why do you have a tree inside? It's weird.
With the ornament with their dog face, right?
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
ass shit.
So I mean, I realized very quickly. I was like, oh, that's the norm. I'm weird.
Nah, yeah, bro. Nah. Honestly, bro, I've been living by myself for the past 2 years, and last year I didn't have a Christmas tree. Um, And it took me a while because I was in a relationship with my ex, and it took me a while to get a Christmas tree because when I was growing up, shit was tough. So like there were some times where couldn't afford a Christmas tree, or sometimes, bro. I remember one year, I think it was, I'm gonna say sixth or seventh grade, bro. We didn't get no Christmas presents, and there
Dang.
was four of us, but it was cool. Like my mom was very very her communication skills were just like, "Hey, this is," like, literally the amount. She would tell us the amount of rent, the amount of, the
Wow.
bills, just to be, like, transparent with us, to let us know, like, "Hey, there's not gonna be this Christmas, and this is why." Um, and it gave all the fucking, I guess, all the glory to mom, man, because she's a crazy is so influential to me, but, yeah, man, it's so hard for me to get a Christmas tree, going back to that, because,
Yeah.
like, why the fuck do I need one? Just put them by the fireplace.
I mean, that's how it was for
And
us.
I'm cheap as hell, bro. I'm cheap as hell. I'm honest. Like if you talk to Jay, like he's with like I was saying earlier, like this shit has been broken for like 2 months, bro. Like these lights. Well, one of these lights has been broken for 2 months, and he keeps telling me, nah, because that's gonna be another $80.
Oh yeah,
The
dude.
light bulb is like $3. I can't do that. Like,
Yes. That's how my brain is.
fuck.
I'm super frugal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're that was a way off tangent, but if you're shit, if you're new here, if you're watching from his friend base or just anywhere in general, um Sean, you got a couple restaurants open right now, and which is huge. I mean, they're it's huge in my opinion. It's kind of like it's a big brand, and it's, even though you started it like last year or maybe a year and a half ago, it's up and coming, and it's just making the movement you're creating is crazy. But he owns Curry Boys, right?
Mhm.
And I know we finished off air. It was
Pinch,
Pinch.
yeah.
And what else restaurants do you have, or businesses?
That currently we've got 2 pinches, pinch boil house, and then 1 curry boys, and we are trying to get something else open.
Curry Boy wise, or just a different venture?
Different venture, but still along like the idea of like food and beverage and
Oh,
hospitality.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
still okay. I got you, man. I'll tell you the first time. Like I said in the beginning, never tried Curry Boys, but I tried Pinch, and this was before the summer. Had went there with some graphic designer. It was just like a meeting we had. Went to the
Oh
one
wow. The
downtown.
downtown?
Yeah, downtown one. Never
Wow.
been there. I couldn't even tell you what I got, but it was good, man. It was pretty good, and that was, I think that's the first time I've ever had that type of food.
Really?
Yeah, and yeah, it was blew it out of the park, man.
Man, I
It was good.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was
even
good.
know that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. But this is I know you said off air too as well. You have a partner in all this.
Mhm.
I wanna get into that because you can do like certain things by yourself, but I think when having like a partner like Jay, or just like yourself, it becomes so much easier on a lot of things.
Oh
So
my god,
how big is having a partner when it comes to business?
bro! I I talk about this all the time. I commend first of all, I commend anyone starting anything. Like you doing this and
Yep.
grinding is unbelievable to me. Um, it seriously, I commend that a lot.
No, yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Uh, but like to do it alone, I'm like, yo, I can't even I can barely even do anything on my own, you know? And
Yeah.
so like I think having a partner is crucial, but I guess the disclaimer is like you have to just be super transparent with that person and you have to be very comfortable with that person and to be honest with them. And I think I've known this guy, his name is Andrew Ho. I've known him since I was like we went to the same high school in
Okay.
Houston. And then same college, we went to UT together. And so I've known him for years, but I mean, he's a homie for sure.
Yeah, yeah. You just mentioned Houston, so that's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
So what's I mean, why San Antonio? I feel like Houston is just that city, you know?
Houston's I mean, I love Houston. San Antonio, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Oh,
Growing up, I was like, I'm never going to San Antonio. Why would I go to San Antonio?
exactly what I'm telling you, yeah.
But then, I think you grow up with such an insulated mindset. And then I went to school in Austin and I was like, oh, like, it's pretty cool. When I
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I graduated, I was like, I'm never coming back to Texas. I wanted the rest of the world. I want to see the rest of the world. So I went to work in Salt Lake City, in
Oh, dope.
finance for like almost 3 years at an investment bank. I was like a finance bro. I mean, it's because when you grow up Asian, your parents are like, you can only be a couple
This
things.
is a doctor,
You got it.
you got
A
a
lawyer,
yeah.
a consultant, or in
Hilarious.
banking. So I was like, yes, ma'am. I'm gonna be in
Yeah.
finance. It just wasn't for me. Like I always wanted to build something and start something. I just didn't know how. I didn't think it was a realistic path for a career. Because you've just been preached to your whole life, like, no, that's not a career. So I was in finance for like 3 years, and Andrew went to engineering. Um, right out like after college, and then
You said this was, UT?
at UT Austin.
Austin? Okay.
Yeah. And while he was there, man, Andrew would always be throwing these like Viet Cajun style crawfish boils. So that's like, your normal crawfish boil. What makes it Viet is like a Vietnamese garlic butter sauce he would toss on the crawfish. And that became like super popular. And then we were always joking, like, oh, you should open like a crawfish food truck or something. He was like, bro, stupid idea. What a
So
horrible idea.
so unrealistic.
Yeah.
Never.
And so he was like an engineer. I was in finance.
Yeah.
After a year, he was like, I'm done with this. I'm gonna move to Asia to teach English.
Oh,
So he
shit.
just shipped off to Thailand he was supposed to be there for like 6 or 7 months. He stayed for 3 years. He was in Asia for 3 years. So I would fly out and visit him all the time.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's crazy.
And he was every time we'd go out there more and more, he was like, yo, we talked about like starting something. And I was like, at first I was like, dude, this is not again, like it's not realistic. And then over time, I was like, maybe we're
Yeah.
not gonna get any younger. Let's just give it a shot. But I was like, and then I remember one time we were in Saigon or in Vietnam, um, and we were like low key inebriated on the streets eating. There was like a snail vendor, sautéed snails, and we were we were drunk.
That's crazy. Okay.
We were drunk, and he was like, "Bro, let's just fucking do it. I'll move back."
Oh, I thought you were about to say you eating snails.
Oh, we were eating
Oh, yeah.
snails. That was
What?
just like a late night snack. They're delicious.
So I'm assuming it tastes good.
It's amazing.
Okay, keep going. My bad, bro. Because I mean, you come to obviously, there's a shit ton of things that are fucking different. I mean, you can go down the rabbit hole of things that are different in Asia, but I mean, that's just not.
Right.
You eat snails in the United States, and like you're fucking weird. You know what I mean? So
You're
that's
yeah, it's hilarious. It's either like really fucking weird
yeah,
or it's like really high class French food. Like,
yeah.
ooh, escargot.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool.
Uh,
Okay, my bad, bro. Keep
no,
going.
no, you're good. But like it's a popular street food in Vietnam. Like there's a bunch of snail vendors and they'll like stir fry up snails with a coconut curry or with the garlic butter or something. And they give you like a safety pin and you eat it with like the safety pin.
Interesting, bro.
Hopefully it's a new safety pin and not used or some shit.
Sanitizer. You guys, yeah.
But yeah, we were talking. He was like, "I think we should just do it, man. Let's just do it. I've been here for 3 years. I've been saving up some money, like." And then at the time, I was living in Baltimore. I was working in like a tech startup. I had quit finance and was like, "Tech is the future."
When was What year was this? Like, where we at?
This was 2015.
Okay, okay, 6 years. Yeah, okay.
And then I was like, "Well, that means I gotta move back to San Antonio, or I mean, back to Texas, and you have to move from Vietnam." And he was like, "I'll do it if you do it." And so I was in a program at the time that had placed me in Baltimore, and the only other city that was a part of that program that was in Texas was in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, "Well, I wanna finish out this 2-year program, so I'll move to San Antonio, we'll get the ball rolling, and then, like, maybe we'll just move back to Houston or something
Yeah.
after this program is up." So I moved to San Antonio, like, literally, like, 2 months, 3 months after we had that conversation in Vietnam. He flew in, started living on my living room floor, and we just started doing crawfish boil pop-ups for, like, 2 years, just out of an apartment.
Oh, shit.
We
Y'all
would
didn't even have a truck or
He had a
just
F-150, we would put 2 crawfish boilers, 2 tents, and 2 tables, and just pop up at a
that's
brewery or
that's a
something.
fucking pop-up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just slaying crawfish for, like, 2 years, yeah.
Insane, man. Insane. I mean, we're talking about food. So when it comes to when it comes to this and when it comes to like opening up a business, why food? Like was there anybody influential growing up or anything
Oh,
like that?
yeah. I think, like, I'm sure similar to you, I think children of immigrants, they grow up around the kitchen. Like, my mom was always like, "No, like, you're gonna help us cook." So I used to hate it as a kid, but then growing up, you really learn to appreciate that, you
Hell
know?
yeah. I was this is hilarious. I was teaching somebody how to cut tomatoes, bro. Like this is something that I learned when I was like 8 years old, and like this person, shout out to her, man. She knows what I'm talking about. But like, I was teaching her how to cut tomatoes. I'm like, nah, you gotta. And I was like, I was cutting onions. I think we were having like street tacos or some shit
Oh,
like that.
nice.
And I was just in my zone, bro. And I'm like, fuck, I really gotta teach this person how to fucking cut tomatoes. And I've been doing this shit for like fucking for 15 plus years, whatever. And I'm just like,
Yes.
but that's where the influence comes from. You just and I think it's different for me. I mean, you're probably the same too as well. Like for me, it was always I've always wanted to learn something new. So if it was a different food, a different taste,
Yes.
everything was it was just so exciting to try something that was good. And then on top of that, you just it's food, man. Like why don't everybody loves food?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that was my big influence, and I know for Andrew as well. Like, his parents and my parents both work. They work like 2 jobs, and so we didn't really get to see them very often. The only time we did was whenever we were in the kitchen with them, like, helping them. So it became like a bonding point, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
then I just grew to love it. I remember thinking, like, when I was in 6th or 7th grade, like, "Oh, man, how fucking cool would it be to be, like, in a restaurant?" And then I would automatically be like, "Yeah, but that's, like, just not we don't do that. It's just not
yeah.
a thing we do."
You're just like you going back. Like there's I mean I guess this brings up my next question is pretty interesting is how because you obviously did you went to college and
Mhm.
kind of just I don't even know what you call it, like your parents' dreams or your parents like what they actually wanted to do for you or what they actually wanted you to do for yourself. So when going into I guess starting this restaurant, how like what were the views on your parents? Like what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
Oh, man, I remember my dad and my mom being like, "Dude, first you gave up finance
Yeah.
to work at this little startup. That's risky. And then you quit this startup to do pop-ups and open up a restaurant." They
Yeah.
were
Oh
like,
shit.
"Yo, what are you doing? Like, we didn't come to the States for you to do this." And I remember being like, "Look, like, trust me." But low key, I was like, "Oh my god, can I even trust myself right now? What am I doing?" It was crazy, man. It was like some existential crisis type shit.
No, but I feel like that's and I wish shit, bro. Like I tell people all the time, like I give glory to my mom all the time, but like she wasn't that like I didn't have that pressure growing up. Like it was just like
Mm,
you're free to do whatever you want. You don't have to become a doctor or a lawyer. Like you can just and then again she was always working, so she was like never around. Same deal. And yeah, man, I'd never felt that pressure, and that's why when I did go to college, I had no guidance on what to do on like I think I don't even know the term. I don't know if it's called unofficial, unassigned, but, like, undeclared. Like, I was an
Mm,
undeclared major for a year and a half because I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to
dude,
do.
yeah, how weird is that? You're supposed to just know what you wanna do when you're
Yeah.
fucking 6 or not 18 or some shit.
Yeah,
It's
18.
crazy.
But well, on this topic of school, because we're gonna jump all over the fucking place. What did you graduate with? Like, what major?
Psychology.
Oh shit! So how did you get into finance? There's just the stigma around
I
from your parents.
I don't so, like, I, uh I just knew I was supposed to be doing something like that. I was not even like I got good grades because my parents told me I had to get good grades.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, I low key I was like, "I'm just trying to make it to the league, baby. I'm trying to make it to the NBA." I played ball my whole life.
Oh, okay. I thought you were fucking around. I was
Yeah, yeah, and
like,
I was
oh
like, "Nah,
no,
man,
no.
I'm trying to play ball." Well, I mean, obviously very unrealistic. I'm like 5'9" and 3/4.
Easy.
You know
Wait,
what I
never
mean?
mind. Because if a point guard, you're starting off at like 6'2". So
Easy, yeah, I would get my shit swatted easily.
that's funny though.
But, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do either. I just knew, like, okay, I guess if I don't know what to do, I should just listen to my parents. So I'll do an internship at this bank, and then that just became like my career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I just didn't know what to do, so kind of went with the flow.
I got you. So going back to these restaurants, so when you started Curry Boys, did you already have Pinch, or how many restaurants did you have?
Yeah, we had all we had was Pinch in downtown.
Okay, and
Yeah,
then you started that, which is an insane story because I didn't. I found this out by Jonay that you actually started in COVID, which
yeah,
is, I mean, when you think about COVID, obviously, actually, we're probably still in a fucking pandemic, which is even
yeah,
crazy to say. But going back when everything summer, spring break, when everything was still unknown,
yeah.
what makes you say like, "Fuck, let's go full throttle with this"?
Man, so like full transparency, we had closed Pinch um March 28th. And this was like 2020, like in the mix.
Yeah, that's just yeah, everything was
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
So we were just I was just sitting on my hands and I was like, "Well, I'm bored. Like, what do I do?" And Andrew, same thing with Andrew. He was like, "Dude, like this might be it. This might be it for us, dude." So we were low key just like panicking. Um, and if you would have asked me at that point, what if I on a scale of 1 to 10 where things were, I wouldn't, it would be like a 2. But I remember Andrew was always like, "Well, this gives it's a blessing in disguise because this gives us time to try things that we've always wanted to try, but we haven't been able to because we've just been so busy managing
Yeah.
Pinch." And so he was like, I've always had this idea. I've been inspired by going to a couple restaurants in my travels of doing like a curry and Texas barbecue concept." And I was like, well, let's give it a shot. Like one of our good friends owns South Barbecue, which is not too far from here.
Mhm.
Um, and it's incredible barbecue. If you're listening, you should definitely check out South Barbecue. But we've known him for a couple years being in San Antonio, and we hit him up. We were like, "Yo, would you be interested in a collab um, to give some sort of normalcy back to people? You know, like it'll be contactless, super safe, but we want to be able to provide something for the community when everyone is kind of like reeling."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hell yeah, let's do something." So we just did a couple pop ups, and they would sell out like crazy. We would sell out like 100 something tickets in an instant. We did it again. It was sold out again. Now we were like, maybe we're on to something. And so we eventually were like, well, if we're gonna build this thing, we ended up opening it late September, the actual brick and mortar.
Mhm.
And it's like a small little shipping container looking vibe on St. Mary's.
That's dope. I've seen it. I've seen pictures.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I've actually passed by it, but yeah.
yeah, it's hard to miss. It's a pink shack.
Yeah.
But we were like, if we build this thing for the pandemic and make it super safe and still have the experience of like a normal restaurant, so if the pandemic ends, it's not like it's weird, that we might be able to provide that normalcy for the community. Like they can feel safe eating new food and trying new food. And that's kind of what we thought about. And it was I guess a huge risk. But it was low capital. It's not a huge space. Didn't take a lot. We're like, let's give it a shot. So
No, that's dope. Because well, just to go back, I think people just they're we're in a lot of business opening. So when you jump into that space and you, um, like that was like they can't eat Whataburger, they can't eat In and Out because these places are closed right at the height of the pandemic.
yeah,
So if you do that and you're following the regulations, because I'm
Yeah.
sure that that was a huge thing,
Huge. Yeah.
that you had to follow, because that was actually for everybody, because there was shit where, like, it was, man, it was insane when we think about this shit. But to go back to the restaurant, man, that's good, man. And I tell people all the time that people or companies are starting to realize, well, there's huge staff shortage right now, but people are starting to realize that these companies are probably not worth it, because you can paid a lot more doing different shit. Internet is a big thing. Social media is a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of money to be made versus working at a corporation or doing the standard 9 to 5 job. And I think people, that's where kind of the staff shortage is coming from. And it's just, yeah, man, we can go all day about this,
For
but man,
sure.
it's dope that you actually, like, I wouldn't be a person. Well, you had Pinch, so that's kind of gives you the background of like, hey, maybe we can, you know how to run a business, you know how to even start one, you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
process of it. So I guess that kind of gives you some backing to start another one. But I think for me, looking from the outside in, I'm just like, fuck, that is a huge risk. Height of the pandemic,
Yeah.
pop-up shops, gotta worry about regulations, gotta worry about if people are actually gonna fucking come.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
there's,
for real.
yeah, man, there's so many things that, could have gone wrong, but it just went the total opposite, and
Shout out to
yeah,
the community for sure. They
yeah,
showed
man.
out, like,
That
I give them all the credit.
how much were because you say you were selling tickets, but how much were the, like, actual tickets, or
They weren't cheap. They were like, $50,
oh, fuck.
$60, but it came with, like it was enough food for, like, 3 or 4 people.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "Goddamn, one person?"
Nah, 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 nah. I ain't built like my money ain't built like
Yeah.
that.
No, that's good though, because I mean, you got families, you got people that are groups of people. Like, no, that's smart, because if you do, I guess, one ticket, there's a lot more shit to worry about, right? Because it's one ticket per person. Instead,
Yeah.
you got to do. Makes sense, bro. That's insane. Makes sense, man. What is I mean, when starting this in COVID, what's, like, I guess, the biggest thing you learned,
Oh, man. Well, so
especially with COVID, man? Because
yeah. Honestly, it was crazy. I mean, so first I'll say I think we were fortunate to even be in a position to open something, and I don't take that for granted. Like, I know a lot of people didn't even get that opportunity. So I won't gloss over that like that. Like we were just, we were privileged to be able to open something. But I think the biggest takeaway was like there are a lot of moments when things the community you're in, the world that we're in, like are very negative, right? COVID being a great example, the pandemic. And those moments are when you should be capitalizing or like trying to find that silver lining in like flipping that switch because I think that's what allowed us, like you were saying earlier, that's what allowed us to not be in such a saturated pool of people opening things up left and right. Like we were the only one. So there was no other news to even write. Like people were just like, yo, Curry Boys is open.
yeah,
So like if you can take the time to realign your thoughts and be like, all right, well, let's think about what we can pull from this shitty situation and turn it on its head and take advantage of that. Like that's what we learned. Like you should be adapting all the time, iterating all the time.
super interesting, bro. Because people, yeah, people. I've met people that are not old, but they're getting to the age, and they don't think like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I mean, obviously they've probably been through a ton of shit, but nothing has triggered in their mind like, "Hey, I should probably do the opposite of what I'm doing right now."
Right.
And you've done it in the height when everything was unknown, which is insane. And I say insane, but I started this a little bit before the pandemic. Well, I actually launched April 20th of last year, which,
Wow.
so that was kind of height of pandemic too as
Yeah.
well. Stores, everything was just, like I said, unknown, but everything was online though. Like, everything
Mm.
was on my social media thing, podcast platforms. That's everything was online, so I never
Yeah.
really had to do regulations. I never had to worry about anything. That when opening a restaurant, you have to. So, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is, it was new, so I was just thinking like, "Hey, everybody's cooped up in a fucking in their house, and,
Yeah. Working from
yeah,
home.
working from home. Maybe they can watch this on the side. Maybe they can listen to this."
That's smart.
Like, that was my original thought. On top of that, I had no idea that a pandemic was about to fucking pop off, but, I've always wanted to start a platform, and I've said this before. I wanted to start a platform, I just didn't know what. Whether if it was this, whether if it was just making vlogs on YouTube. Like I wanted to
Right.
do something within, I guess, the social media realm. And then I was just like, fuck. Um, Speaking of, I guess, podcasts, I mentioned it on an Instagram video a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you're familiar with Timothy Delgado.
Yeah, man. I used to
So
watch this shit like
y-
way back in the day.
yeah, yeah. So man, going back, bro,
When
I
he was
think
Traffic the rapper.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yo, what?
Oh, my phone's fucking recording, bro. He had tweeted this the other day. He said, he had tweeted about different goals and shit. And I just put, man, dog, I need that album. Cause he's been talking about releasing an album for like years now. And he
Yeah.
put, it's on the list. Don't worry. Yeah, I swear.
Wow.
Which is fucking crazy because I've been watching him since '09, '08.
Goodness.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think one of my boys, Caesar, we were in like, either we are in middle school or high school, freshman year. And he had shown me a video and I was just hooked. But he's the reason why I fucking started podcasting because he
Wow.
started it in 2019, like the end of it. That's when I started watching it, and I actually started getting into podcasts then. Then kind of got introduced to Joe Rogan, and he had been doing it for fucking
Oh,
10 plus years
forever. Yeah.
before. So I was just like, damn, this is dope. And podcasts have been honestly been around since
Forever.
yeah, since like 2009, 2010,
Yeah.
maybe even before that,
Forever.
because it was like it was audio based first, of course, but yeah, man, that's my story. But
I love it, bro. I honestly, I think what you're doing is dope. And I think what sets you apart from a lot of people is like you're curating a super dope list of people that you're talking to. I mean, I know when Jonay was talking to me about it, I was like, dog, like he has all the cool people on
yeah.
his podcast, man. It was awesome.
So that just brings me to agreeing with you when you say that like you can only do so much shit alone. Like need to have people because doing this is you said it's like kind of crazy, kind of insane, and that was that's the same thing for me. Like when I think about these stories that I have on the podcast, the shit that you're doing, I could never do. You know what I mean? The shit
Right.
that Jonay is has been through, I have
Oh,
no
mind
idea.
blowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mind blowing. This the just different people doing different things. Insane to me, bro. Like I could never find the time. Well, I say that, but if I tried, like it's a different story. But when in hindsight, when I just see it, like I said, from the outside in, I'm just like, fuck, that's I couldn't see myself doing it. It looks so unrealistic.
Yeah.
But well, that and I'm just curious on how to actually do it because I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast and Kevin Hart was on and he was like he was talking about how he gets very I don't know if the word was angry or intimidated when he doesn't know how to do something.
I'm the
Um
same way.
so I'm the same way. Like if someone is um like I'm releasing podcast merch, no idea about different sizes, different styles, colors, fabric. Like it's totally new to me.
Yeah.
But it was so like I needed to know how to do it. It was just gonna be another maybe another venture I can do outside of podcast merch
Yeah.
that could just help me out. And when it comes to shit like that, I'm just so curious. Like, fuck, if you can do it, why can't I? But then
I
again,
for sure.
I don't fucking have the time. So
I just hate not knowing. I just hate not
yeah,
knowing. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's like the other day, we don't have to get into this. So
nah, we're about
it's a
to.
rabbit hole. But other day, someone was like talking to me about like NFTs and crypto. And like obviously, you hear about this, and I have a baseline foundation, but then like I was super I could not I have trouble sleeping. I could not sleep like a couple weeks ago. And I just went down this crazy fucking rabbit hole of like crypto, web3, all these things. And I was like, oh my God, am I becoming like the crypto guy? I definitely don't want to be that guy, but
We I man, the podcast that I'm releasing tomorrow. We talked about NFTs and crypto, and he used to be a rapper. He used to be a rapper, but now he's a managing artist. But he was just talking about how NFT is going to change the whole music
it's
game.
crazy, bro.
I think Meek Mill is going to release his next album as an NFT,
That's wild.
which is wild to say. But yeah, man, I'm the same way. Do you have any like money invested into crypto or anything?
I do. Yeah. I mean, it's not I have like 10 to 15% of my portfolio is crypto just because like I do think there's massive upside,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm also like not a fucking day trader and
yeah.
I can't keep up with all the research. So I'm like, yo, if I can just get in a little bit, you know what I mean?
Every so often,
Every so
yeah,
often, you know what I
$100.
mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm the same way, man. Like I've a little money here and there, but it's so weird when you talk about this stuff just because like, it's so new too as well. It's been around for a while, but it's nothing like stocks and shit like that. It's been around for
Exactly.
fucking damn near a century or maybe a little bit less. But uh I'm the same way, man. Like I can't keep up with the research, but then fuck, I lost my thought. Oh, I was gonna say I've seen so many videos about how people are not backing like they don't like the thought of crypto because you really don't
Mm,
know who's actually behind it. Like I've seen
yeah.
a TikTok video on a guy, and I wish I knew his name, but it's supposed to be some wealthy guy, older gentleman, and he was talking about if we really knew who was behind crypto or who made crypto, that the value would drop to zero in seconds.
Right.
And I was just like, who the fuck can it be, bro?
It's wild,
Like
man.
Epstein or just
Oh,
just something outrageous, right?
that's one of the greatest things I've ever heard. That's
No, but
hilarious.
that's the thought, bro. Because if it's so bad, like, why? How would it go to zero? Like, that's my whole thought about it. And this, like I said, supposedly this guy's really, really wealthy. But yeah, man, yeah, let's transition into
Yeah.
one topic that we can all talk about and relate to. Recently, there's been tragic events, and this has actually been going on for a while. And speaking about the pandemic too, as well, um, it's just Asian hate, man. Like
Yeah.
it's been popping off like crazy. I follow what's his name? I follow China Mac. I don't know if you know who
China
China Mac
Mac's
is.
dope.
He was actually on Tim's podcast, and that's how I found about him, and then just been following him ever since. But he was, I think he started like a I don't know if it was a rally or what he was doing in like San
Yeah.
Francisco, and I was just like, "Fuck, bro, that is so dope." But then he talks about a lot of Asian hate and just the shit that people are doing to like elderly Asians or just Asians in general. And then
Yeah.
when you talk about the pandemic, there's this whole conspiracy, or maybe it's real, or who fucking knows. I'm not really into the research and then, but it's coming from Asia and it's coming from a certain place or wherever, and they got this stigma towards Asians now, like this.
Yeah.
It's oh, you brought this virus here, like that's it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just like, in my head, I can never find the I don't even know the word, bro. Just the amount of energy it would take to actually do something to another person. Like
Oh,
it doesn't
right.
register in my head like that. But grew up Asian, obviously. I mean, you're not.
Look at me. You know what I'm saying?
But when growing up, I mean, was there any type of like Asian hate you experienced, or even now, bro? Like, what's anything that you fucking experienced? Or you're like, dog, this ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think a lot of people go through, or a lot of people of color have a probably a similar experience, or at least in non-homogenized communities, right? So, like maybe in San Antonio, if you're Hispanic, you might feel like you fit in a little bit more with other Hispanics, but like in Houston, it's so different. Like there's every race you can
Yeah,
imagine, right? Um, and so like yeah, I definitely, I mean, I'm not gonna say I got the worst of it, but I definitely there were like subtle little things people would say or like people would do. And you just deal with that growing up, and a lot of Asians, and I've had this conversation with a lot of them. A lot of them grow up being like disappointed that they're Asian. I remember being like, man, I wish I wasn't Asian. Like it's so hard. I'd rather be something else. Um, because people just assume a lot, right? Obviously.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of it also just comes from like miseducation, but or ignorance. But so that kind of drove me away from like the passion for being Asian, or like being thankful or grateful that I was Asian, up until like all the way up until like end of college. That's when I started kind of reclaiming my identity and my culture. Um, but I think at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, this is actually an interesting segue. It really interesting now to see like Asian culture is like very popular. Anime is so. If
popping.
I would have told you, hey yo, I watched anime when I was in ninth grade, you'd have been like, fucking nerd,
Exactly.
clown, like what? Anime? That's for children.
You got
Now,
adults watching anime, bro.
bro, now it's like if I don't know this anime, they're like, what planet are you living on? You
Yeah.
don't know this? You haven't seen this I'm like, I don't what? No, I thought that was like whack.
Bro, that what else is like a norm now that people
K-pop
oh yeah, that too.
looking
Yeah.
like that, like that style of
Yeah.
like beauty for a man. Like that's
But even okay,
crazy.
so that's huge. So there's going back to the Asian food, but then again, what I've noticed too is fashion. Like Asian
Yep.
fashion is huge now.
Huge.
And I'm like, it's good for like, I mean, they get the recognition because I mean, it's always been there.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, people used to dress like this. They've always dressed like this, but now
Always.
it's
That was
cool.
popular and
Yeah,
cool. I'm like, it's just so interesting.
yeah.
And I think, obviously now I'm extremely proud of being Asian. And I think we have a lot to educate people on still, even in the city. Like I remember when we first moved into our downtown location like 4.5 years ago, the menu now is completely different than it used to be. Because we came in thinking like, oh, people are gonna love our food. And then they would walk in and be like, I can't pronounce this, I'm walking out. They would literally just walk out. Like
Oh,
in droves. They'd be like, nah, fam, I can't read this.
I see what you mean. Okay,
So like I think even in that small little micro community of being in downtown, it took us years to educate people and get them familiar with the flavors that we have. And they're not even like outlandish flavors. Um, but it's interesting because we'd get comments sometimes like we used to have a sandwich called a banh mi, which is like a Vietnamese sandwich. And some guys would be like, yo, like, how come there's no lettuce on this thing? I'm like, there's no lettuce in banh mi.
yeah.
And they were like, well, you live in Texas now, not in Vietnam.
But
And I was like, wait, what? That makes no sense. What are you talking about?
you're coming to a restaurant that this is what? Yeah,
I know. And so we would face like subtle things like that.
yeah,
But now I think that we've garnered the trust of the community. Like we can do crazy, weird shit and people won't bat an eye. So I think a lot of it comes down to just like education, educating your community. And that's why I love doing what we do because we get to kind of tell the people of San Antonio a story of our culture through food. And it's so accessible. Eating is so easy. I don't have to sit you down and give you a lecture. You eat the food and you're like, oh, this is kind of dope. You know what I mean? So,
no, yeah, that's good. And just to go back to like you can pretty much give whatever flavor, put whatever on the menu, and just it's new. You can
yeah,
put like a little new sign in there, like, oh, I want to try that's new. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
But that
Yeah.
just goes back to the type of movement you created, which is it's a dope fucking movement. And
Appreciate that.
yeah, and I think if you didn't have that, it would be like just when you first started off. Like you can do the wildest shit now, which is pretty fucking cool to say,
It's
man.
cool, man.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like we didn't know how people would react to, Texas barbecue, which is like a religion with curry. Because I feel like there's a stigma around curry. People are like, it's stinky. Nah, I don't like
Yeah.
curry. It tastes too strong. And I'm like, dude, there's like hundreds of styles of curry. You know what I mean? It's not just like one style of curry. And it's so crazy seeing people like enjoy curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. I've never had curry. So, bro,
Also,
I'm
I
telling you,
got you, bro.
one of these times I'm gonna go in there, man.
Just come, let me know. I got you. For
Oh,
real.
hell yeah, bro. I appreciate it. I'm gonna bring like 20 people.
All right, so I'll charge you double. Playing.
No, I'm just fucking with you. Well, shit, bro. This is yeah, man. I'm all about equality when it comes to this shit. Like whenever the pandemic happened and George Floyd came on, I had to sit down with people and really understand, um, like the backgrounds and the type of hate and the type of just the shit that was going on behind the scenes that
Yeah,
not a lot of people knew about when you talk to people. Because I'll be honest, I've had a couple interactions, nothing too crazy, but you can just feel that something's about to happen based off your the color of your skin. And
yeah,
I just I remember trying to figure out what I actually said I had posted a post on Instagram, and it was like I think it was like June 2nd when everybody was posting like black
yeah,
pictures. I wrote something because um it was basically just saying I will never understand the type of I guess the type of hate or the type of things that people see towards you because of your color of skin. Like I'm not gonna pretend that I know how that feels. But what I can do is sympathize and just
yes,
be like, hey, This is not cool, man, and just educate people on how to treat other people, and that's a huge thing. I'm all about treating other people the right way because huge believer in karma.
Absolutely, me too.
And then I'm just like I said before, I've never found the energy to put any hate towards someone. Like I tell people all the time, I don't hate anybody. Like
Yeah,
I might dislike them. I don't hate them because I feel
for
like
sure.
hate is the top of just the ladder when it comes to just like I just hate that person, and I don't have that energy because I think when it comes to hate, that it takes so much from you.
Yeah, it
Eh,
causes you to lose focus on the finer things,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, but it's dope, man. That you're here. You're
Thank you.
Asian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I've honestly, bro, I've had a couple. I actually had an Asian friend in college, bro, and he was the dopest person I've ever fucking
What was
met,
his
bro.
name?
I don't remember.
Shout out to the Asian guy,
Yeah,
though.
I don't remember. I had him for writing too, bro.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I don't remember. It was like it was. I'm not gonna lie. It was an Asian name that probably couldn't pronounce. That I probably that's probably why I don't remember. But
Yeah, it's probably tough. It was
yeah, yeah.
probably tough for sure.
But man, that is I always like I said, I always like to have those type of conversations just because I mean, these are real events happening in real fucking time. You're seeing it
Yeah,
on social media. It might be your fucking aunt. It might be
it's
your
crazy.
grandma, your grandpa. It might be your brother, sister, your mom. Like
It's
it's gonna.
crazy.
These are things that happen in real life. But shit, bro. Yeah,
It's
this
tough.
is yeah,
You know what I'll say though, like I think the more people can have conversations like this, I think the better it'll be for everybody. I don't think it'll ever go away. I just think there's just like ignorance is never going to go away. You know, hate unfortunately is never going to go away. But the more people that have an open mind, the better. And I think like this is a great example of somebody yourself who's helping other people open up their minds. That's great. You
yeah.
know, I'm happy to have conversations like that all the time.
I'm all for it, bro. Because like I said, I'm all about equality, even when it comes to fucking women. Like I'm a huge supporter on women because I've had a conversation with sports guy who was saying we're talking about the gap between the pay of
Mm,
incorporation when it comes to men and women, and he will tell you the stats because he's more
it's
just yeah,
unbelievable.
it's unbelievable. And I was just that is insane. But he was telling me a story how two people applied for the same thing, one boy, one girl. Her resume was damn near 10 times better than his, but he got the position.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, that is insane. And it's just like, it comes down to, they might not say it's a gender role or anything that has to do with gender, but I mean, yeah,
Subconsciously or something's
yeah,
gotta be.
something.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm all about. But shit, bro, what's in the future, man? I know you say you're working on something in the future.
Yeah.
What's a new restaurant? Can you say anything about it?
I mean, it's not I'll say it. This is nothing set in stone, but this
Oh,
is
okay.
like the concept that we would like to do. There's a couple spots that we're looking at. We just need to finalize it. But it'd be like a beer garden inspired concept with sausages, and we call it worst behavior, like bratwurst.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so and then we're trying to open up a sister bar called Best Behavior, where we do kind of like a cafe style beer and wine cafe. But I think it'd be dope because like there's just like I've had the opportunity to live in a bunch of different cities, and I have never been able to find like a spot like this in San Antonio. So for us to be able to open something as a young person who kind of gets it, um, I think that'd be really cool and really unique. And so we're looking forward to doing something that's like a super chill spot like that. You know what I mean?
I had to write something down because I would forget. But I have two questions. So the first question is, um, so you've been to a lot of places,
Yeah.
had a lot of food, eaten a lot of food.
Yeah.
Best place that has the food, whether if
Wow.
it's United States, Asia, Europe, wherever.
All right. So is the question best item I've had or best country that I've been to with food?
Let's do best country.
Okay. This is so hard. Oh my
Let's do
goodness.
best country.
I would put Japan or Vietnam as number one by like a pretty large margin. I mean, it's
Yeah,
unbelievable. It's crazy. Yeah.
I like Asian food, but I don't like seafood.
Mm,
And I say that with I've tried it and I might be able to get into it if I try different variations of it. It's just that we live in the United States and they don't
yeah.
just to going back to your thing you're talking about, there's not a lot of new
Yeah.
shit out there that are bringing authentic food, like, from different countries to the States. But then again, I'm just I don't really so,
What's
yeah, man.
crazy though is like, people when people say Japanese, they're like they assume sushi. I mean, you should. I think sushi's
Yeah,
amazing. But like the breadth of like, dude, Japanese food runs the gamut. Like there's sushi is such a small subsection of what that food has to offer. They've got a million different things. Like, and what's crazy is even their Italian food is as good as some Italians in Italy. And it's like everything they do is so refined and detail oriented. Bro, the food is fire.
you just blew my mind.
It's crazy. It's
Japanese
crazy.
cooking Italian food?
Yeah, one of the highest rated like pizza restaurants, and it's like rated from like by some Italian pizza source or whatever, is in Japan. It's in Tokyo.
No, I'm just saying that that's fucking dope,
It's
like,
crazy.
just why would Japanese do Italian food? But they're probably doing it better, you know
It,
what
dude,
I
it's
mean?
nuts, man.
That's crazy, that's
Yeah.
fucking dope.
Japanese food is dope, and then but I guess my non-Asian pick would probably be
You're all sad now.
I know. Like if I couldn't pick Asia,
Yeah, yeah.
it'd probably be France. I mean, come on.
You've been to France?
Yeah,
That's dope, bro.
it's incredible.
That's dope, man. I was gonna ask you too as well. So starting new businesses, is it easier for you since you have like a background in like the restaurant industry?
Um, like starting a new restaurant or
Or
something
just
or
new one or just yeah, I guess just because I mean you're it's a new restaurant, it's a new
yeah.
business, but it's still within the food realm.
Yeah. I think I think like theoretically it's easier, but when it comes down to it, it's never fucking easy.
Yeah,
You know this shit. It's
makes
like,
sense.
oh my god, dude, this is horrible. Every
No,
time I'm like, why do I do this to myself?
because because it's new, but it's not new.
It's not
Yeah,
new because like yeah, there's just everything that could go wrong is always gonna go wrong, and you're like, well, this is fun. Not
yeah,
this is not fun.
yeah. And then on top of that, you go into I think there's a lot of people that actually talk about this, but I actually find it interesting. It's just the financial part about running a business.
Yeah,
Um, you have a background in finance, so did that help anything whenever going into like the business?
I think that did help a little bit. Our big thing when we opened the first pinch was we didn't want to owe anyone anything, so we used our own money. We bootstrapped it. We opened it. The second one that we opened, Curry Boys, we also bootstrapped. But our third spot, the second pinch, we raised a little money like from a friends and family round that we raised. But I don't know. I go back and forth on the best method to raise money. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think it's good to use your own money. Sometimes I think it's you should never use your own money.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of back and forth. I want to ask you because I mean, most of your family's Asian, right? So they're like, should I give this guy some money for a new restaurant? Like, was that ever like a thought, or did you have to tell him like, hey, this is the business plan? Because that's if someone were to come and tell me like, hey, I'm opening up a new restaurant and it's going to be this and this and this, versus somebody that would tell me like, hey, this is my business plan, and they show me like a spread of information,
yeah,
the numbers, like they was just very, very logical. I would pick, you know what I'm saying? I would pick this. So did you have to do that with your family?
I did. Though that's the way my brain is though. Like I like to be as analytical and logical as possible. So I put like a little deck together, and
Yeah.
I was like, look, these are the financials. This is projected growth. This is our comp. This is everything. And if you're in, you're in. If you're not, like obviously no hard feelings.
Yeah.
Um and
Still ain't shit, but yeah, keep Nah,
exactly.
I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean, it was cool. I mean, we didn't need to raise that much,
Yeah.
but it was mostly like at this point, it was just to like reward those people that have been with us from day one. And like, look, if you want an opportunity to be a part of it, like, let us know. We'd love to include you.
That's so dope. Did they have like they get a percentage back, or they have like a certain they get free food when they pull up, or like how does like what? Because I mean, when obviously they have to get their money back, or
Yeah,
well, how do you determine that? Because you go into a new business plan, you're in like get a certain percentage back, or I mean, obviously the company was like huge and into the stock market. You either get some type of equity that they can
yeah. They've got
give it.
equity for like small businesses too, or like a stake in that business still. So that's what we did. It was like you get a small slice of based off the valuation of all this. I'm not gonna go into that boring shit,
No,
but
that was funny because that was my next question.
oh really?
Well, because I'm super interested when it comes to business because you don't get taught this unless you go to school for it. Like no one's
It's very true.
unless your family or friends are into this. And most of it might be self-taught, and that's
Yeah.
where it comes with me. Is like most of the shit that the business that I have, the shit that I'm doing is like everything is self-taught. No disrespect to my family, but they didn't teach me a damn thing.
Same, yeah.
And that's what I'm getting to is like you you have to have that certain want to actually learn this new information. But
Yes.
then again, there's yeah, man, there just has to be a certain want.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off what you're saying though, like, look, I might have worked in the financial sector, but the whole idea of like valuation and equity and raising debt or equity, whatever it might be, is like still way over my head. So you have to like leverage the people around
Yeah.
you. And like I have really good friends that are way more familiar than that. And I was like, you look, I'm putting a deck together. Let's sit down. I want to pick your brain. How would you, value my company? Does this make sense? What sort of investment vehicle makes the most sense? And so like I didn't know any of this shit.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, this was if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I would have no idea what you're talking about right now. Yeah,
Right.
no idea, but those are vocabulary that you learn when you just put your head down and go into
Exactly.
new business shit. I didn't even know what a LLC was and the benefits of having that versus I mean, if you know what a S-corp is, you know there's different tax
Right.
situations, like,
Yep.
I didn't even know that that was a thing.
It's crazy. Like,
Yeah,
why are we should be taught that in school and stuff or taxes?
ta
Like,
I was literally about to
what
say
the
that.
fuck? I
How do
mean,
we not know taxes? Well, I mean, now we do, but, like,
yeah,
how
but it's
we
like
taught
even still now, I'm like, this shit is it's kind of a mystery still.
yeah.
I'm low key like you. I'm just like trying to get a tax attorney to do this shit for me.
Where does this money go? It's
Yeah.
are we really fucking paving roads, or what are we doing with
Yeah,
this
what
fuck
is it? Or like, why are all the forms like Form 9483? I'm like, bro, I gotta memorize all these forms. K1. I'm like, what?
Like, there's so much shit when it comes to business that you especially taxes, like, there's a lot of yeah, there's just certain shit that you don't get taught,
Right.
but that comes with everything, right?
Yeah.
Comes with everything, but, shit, bro, we, coming up on the end here, man. Anything you wanna say? Anything you wanna talk about before we head up out of here?
Let's talk about math. No, I'm just kidding. Man, no, I've had a blast. You made it really easy. I think it's dope. Like we really just met like an hour ago, but I really feel like we could talk and flow about a bunch of shit. And like, I low key would be interested in just like, I'm really glad I met you. Like,
Yeah,
you've
bro.
got the way you think, your hustle, the vision you have for this community that we live in is dope. It's super cool. I feel like there's a lot of similarities. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, bro. Like I said, the business part was what I'm interested first, but then when I start to meet people and I just feel the vibe, it's like that's a
It's,
deeper connection
it's
than anything
easy.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super easy, and he's right. We literally dabbed it up at 6:05, and it's 7:17 now. Like
It's
that's,
wild, bro.
but that's the type of things like when coming to social media and you see certain things like I feel like based on what people post and I might be profiling, I might be not. You can really tell like the way people are like the type of shit they're doing, the hustle they have. Like
Yeah.
you can really tell when it comes to social media. But then when it comes in meeting someone in person, it's just like fuck, they really are that dude. You know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
just goes for you too as well, a
I
business
appreciate
partner.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was just based off the conversation me and Jonay had. And shout out to Jonay, man.
Love you, bro.
This would have probably never happened. Maybe in the future, I probably would have reached out. Well, actually, shout out to my boy Jay because
Yeah, he swung by the spot.
he didn't tell me he sent the message like 2 days ago, and I was just like, no way, because I think yeah, I think he sent that message and probably sent the message to your personal
Yeah,
DM like a day later, maybe 2 days later. So I'm
yeah.
like, insane world, the way shit
It's
collides. Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy, but man, this has been one of the dopest conversations I've had on the fucking podcast. I say that all the time, but this is really always, like I said, I've always liked to talk about real events. I always like to talk about shit that's going on in your life, business, Asian hate. People stop being fucking weird. That's just my fucking
Shit's
message
goofy,
today.
bro. That shit
Yeah, yeah,
goofy.
yeah. But Speaking of this, we're talking about this off air. This man has style, fashion. No, we're talking about Kid Super, and if you're familiar with Kid Super, he's just he's based out of New York, right?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Um, dope artist. Yeah, man. With this, we
He's
man.
dope.
You said you it's a friend of a friend, right?
Friend of a friend. Call him. Yeah, the dude who runs Kid Super, call him is a friend of a friend. I don't really know him. I met him a couple times. We had like a pop up there in Brooklyn like a couple months ago, which
Yeah,
was super dope. We
crazy,
did a
bro.
collabo with them, but
Shit, man. With Curry Boys Barbecue, that's their at name on social media, right?
yeah,
Instagram. Y'all have a Twitter or anything like that? No Twitter.
nah,
Too much to worry about.
nah. I don't even have a TikTok, man.
Oh fuck.
I know. I like to keep it dim though.
Hey, you know what's crazy? People tell me this all the time. Like, you should start posting on TikTok. And I'm gonna say the same thing, bro. You should start posting on TikTok.
I should, huh?
there's a lot
People are
of
saying
there's a
that.
lot of food videos that like instant viral,
That's
like
crazy.
ASMR, like just yeah. There you go, there you go, shit like that. But yeah. What anything else you want to plug, bro? Any other social media handles? Anything you want to say?
Nah, man. Just come through and kick it. Say what's up and show love. Man, y'all should be subscribing to this shit for sure.
Yeah, man. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And yeah. Until next time, people.
All right, peace.
Yeah, we out here. It was so fucking dope, bro.
That's easy, man. You made it easy, bro.
That's chill, right? Yeah, of course, dog. Of course, bro.